It's 2011. Bitcoin trades at just $31, and most people still think digital money is science fiction. But something is stirring in the depths of the crypto underground. While the mainstream world barely noticed, a new service quietly emerged on the darknet. Bitcoin Fog, a cryptocurrency mixing service. You might be wondering what a mixing service is. Let me explain. Think of Bitcoin's blockchain as a giant public ledger where everyone can see every transaction. That transparency? While it's a feature for most, to others it's a serious flaw. Bitcoin Fog offered a solution for those seeking privacy. It would take your Bitcoin, mix it with other people's coins in a complex series of transactions, and return different coins to you. The original trail? Virtually impossible to follow. Operating exclusively on the darknet, it quickly attracted users who valued their financial privacy and others with more malicious intent. For every transaction, Bitcoin Fog charged between 1% and 3%. Seemingly small numbers that would add up to something massive. Over its decade-long operation, Bitcoin Fog processed an almost unbelievable amount of cryptocurrency. 1.2 million Bitcoin, worth approximately $400 million at the time. That's serious volume. Law enforcement started taking notice. Their investigations revealed a disturbing pattern. A significant portion of these funds flowed from darknet marketplaces. The cryptocurrency was being used for everything from narcotics to computer crimes, identity theft, and worse. This wasn't just about privacy anymore. Bitcoin Fog had become a major player in illegal crime. While Bitcoin transactions might look like random strings of numbers and letters, they leave patterns. Think of it as digital DNA. Investigators used sophisticated tools like Chainalysis Reactor software to analyze these patterns, following the money through thousands of transactions. The hunt became one of the most sophisticated blockchain investigations ever witnessed. Investigators weren't just looking at current transactions. They were diving deep into data from defunct exchanges like Mt. Gox, BTCE, and Liberty Reserve. These old exchanges were like time capsules, preserving crucial transaction data from Bitcoin's early days. Forensic accountants were combining blockchain analysis with traditional financial records, internet service provider data, and email records, weaving together different threads of evidence to create a suspect profile. Now, all they needed was a name. The operator remained a ghost, known only through online aliases. But maintaining perfect anonymity while handling millions in cryptocurrency is harder than you can imagine. Every transaction, every login, and every transfer between exchanges left microscopic traces. April 2021, Los Angeles International Airport. As Roman Sterlingov, a 35-year-old dual Russian-Swiss citizen, stepped off his flight, he had no idea he was walking into a trap. The man who had operated on the deep web for a decade was about to enter the spotlight. The charges weren't simple: money laundering, operating an unlicensed money transmitting business, and money transmission without a license. Fast forward to February 2024. When the trial began, the prosecution wasn't just relying on traditional evidence. They were betting big on blockchain analysis. The prosecution brought in two witnesses who knew exactly how these operations worked, because they'd run their own. Larry Harmon, the former CEO of another mixing service called Helix, and Ilya Lichtenstein, the man behind the $3.6 billion Bitfinex hack. While prosecutors used blockchain analysis to link Sterlingov to Bitcoin Fog, the defense called it junk science. Can you really prove who's behind a cryptocurrency transaction? beyond a reasonable doubt. This question would become central to the entire case. Yet, despite their arguments, they failed to sway the court. Throughout the trial, Sterlingoff maintained his innocence, even taking the stand to deny his involvement in the mixing service. March 12th, 2024. The verdict came down. Guilty on all 4 charges. Sterlingoff was convicted of money laundering conspiracy, money laundering, operating an unlicensed money transmitting business, and money transmission without a license in the District of Columbia. When the government takes down a traditional criminal enterprise, it seizes physical assets, cash, cars, houses. But cryptocurrency? That's a whole different game. The government doesn't just get a court order and magically take control of digital wallets. It needs the private keys, the transaction histories, and the complete digital paper trail. In Sterlingoff's case, the authorities gained control of the Bitcoin fog wallet, a vault containing the proceeds of a decade of mixing operations. The government had proven they could track these operations and successfully prosecute them using the very technology designed to provide anonymity. November 8th, 2024. Roman Sterlingoff's sentence came down like a hammer, 12 years and 6 months in federal prison. But that was just the beginning. The court ordered Sterlingoff to pay nearly $400 million in restitution, forfeit $1.76 million in seized assets, and surrender control of the Bitcoin fog wallet, which contained more than $100 million in Bitcoin. What do you think the future of cryptocurrency privacy will look like? Will underground services find new ways to thrive? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.
Kalshi has recorded over $80 million in trades on the presidential election.
America will soon be greater, stronger.
In September 2024, a cryptocurrency exchange got into a battle. But this wasn't just a battle over some cryptocurrency. This was Kalshi, a derivatives exchange, going head-to-head with the mighty Commodity Futures Trading Commission, known as the CFTC, legal election betting. Yeah, you heard that right. Let me explain. At the center of this battle were event contracts. Think of them as yes or no bets on future outcomes. Will it rain tomorrow? Will Team A win the championship? Will Donald Trump or Kamala Harris win the United States election? For decades, the CFTC drew a hard line. No election betting in the United States, period. But Kalshi wasn't about to back down. They challenged the regulator's ban on political event contracts. And in September 2024, they pulled off the unthinkable. They won. And then on October 7th, Kalshi's founder, Tarek Mansour, dropped a bombshell. With a single post on X, he announced the launch of U.S. election betting contracts. For the first time in history, Americans could legally bet on election outcomes through a regulated platform. This wasn't just a win for Kalshi. It was an enormous change in prediction markets. The doors had been blown open, and other players were ready to jump in. By late October 2024, the floodgates had opened. Robinhood, the platform that revolutionized commission-free trading, was one of the first to act. On October 28th, they rolled out election betting contracts to select users. Not to be outdone, Interactive Brokers, a titan in electronic trading, followed suit, launching their own political markets that very same month. But while Wall Street's giants scrambled to catch up, Kalshi was already playing a different game. On October 28th, they made a bold move that no one saw coming. They began accepting deposits in USDC. Wall Street had the user base, but Kalshi had the innovation. As Election Day 2024 approached, crypto and prediction markets reached all-time highs. It wasn't just a financial experiment anymore. It was happening. And at the center of it all, Polymarket, a Web3 native platform that, despite being barred from operating in the United States, emerged as the dominant force. On November 5th, as Americans headed to the polls, Polymarket processed an astounding $3.3 billion in trading volume on the presidential race alone. Their flagship election market facilitated over 200 million individual contracts. To give you some context, that's more trades than some stock exchanges see in an entire month. Their market reflected a stark divide. 54% of bettors backed Trump, while 46% placed their money on Harris. See, unlike polls, which often rely on opinions and biases, these markets were fueled by something far more objective: financial risk. Every bet, every price spike, and every contract traded represented real conviction. Traders were literally putting their money where their mouths were. And the result? A real-time, dynamic snapshot of political sentiment. This was something new. For decades, political forecasting relied on static polls and speculative analysis. But now, prediction markets were disrupting that model, offering a faster, more immediate alternative that might even prove more accurate. As the dust settled on Election Day, one thing was undeniable. The genie was out of the bottle. Polymarket's success on the global stage and Kalshi's legal triumph had demonstrated the raw power of Web3 prediction markets. The future of political forecasting would never be the same. Beneath the surface of this revolutionary market, something darker was brewing. Two independent investigations, one by Chaos Labs and another by Inca Digital, uncovered a secret that could shake the foundation of these prediction markets. 30% of all presidential election activity on Polymarket was wash trading. Now, if you're not familiar with wash trading, it's when a trader buys and sells to themselves, creating the illusion of market activity. The goal? To make a market seem more active and liquid than it really is. In Polymarket's case, that illusion might have drawn in billions in legitimate trades. But that wasn't the only red flag. According to Domer, a prominent political bettor, just 5 whales, massive traders controlling enormous stakes, held over 50% of all Trump shares. Let that sink in. 5 individuals had the power to influence not just prices, but public perception of the election's outcome. Here's the thing about whales. They're not just big fish. They're market movers. When a single trade from one of them can sway prices, it raises serious questions about manipulation. Were these markets really reflecting public sentiment, or were they being gamed from the inside? But just as the narrative seemed to take a darker turn, something remarkable happened. Bloomberg LP, the gold standard for financial data, announced they would include Polymarket's election odds on their terminal. Think about that for a moment. Despite allegations of manipulation and wash trading, Wall Street's most trusted data provider was saying, "These markets matter." These platforms were becoming indispensable tools for understanding public sentiment. The dust has settled, and history has been made. Donald Trump is officially the 2024 U.S. presidential election winner. For the first time, prediction markets like Kalshi and Polymarket weren't just watching. They were shaping the narrative, proving their power to predict and influence democracy itself. Kalshi's U.S. regulated platform closed its books as a pioneer in legal election betting, while Polymarket, operating outside U.S. jurisdiction, recorded a staggering $3.3 billion in trading volume. These platforms didn't just predict Trump's victory. Every trade reflected a bet on the future. Here's the undeniable truth. Prediction markets are here to stay. The question isn't whether these markets will influence future elections. It's how deeply they'll shape them. Like it or not, democracy just got a whole lot more expensive. What happens when artificial intelligence starts creating cryptocurrencies of its own? Well, in March 2024, the crypto world witnessed exactly that. A developer named Andy A. Ray created what he called the infinite backrooms, a bold experiment where two of the most advanced AI models ever created, Claude 3, Opus, were allowed to communicate with each other without any human supervision. Now, you might be thinking, AIs chat all the time, so what? But this wasn't a chatbot with pre-programmed responses. These were large language models. Think of them as artificial brains capable of generating and processing human-like text with stunning sophistication. What happened next shocked even Andy. During their unmonitored conversations, the AIs spontaneously created something called the Goatse of Gnosis. This wasn't a quirky feature programmed by a developer. No, this was entirely unprompted. ASCII art paired with a cryptic message that referenced Goatse, a notorious, not safe for work internet meme from the 90s. If you were on the internet around that time, you probably remember the image of the man stretching something that he shouldn't be. Google it, if you dare. The creator Andy, along with one of the Claude models, co-authored a research paper. They titled it LLM Theism and the Goatse Gospel, releasing it through a provocatively named entity, the Department of Divine Shitposting. By June 2024, Andy had transformed this strange, chaotic experiment into something even more groundbreaking. He used the data from these AI conversations to train a new system, Truth Terminal, built on the Llama 70B model and fine-tuned with infinite backrooms data. But Andy didn't stop there. He gave Truth Terminal its own account on X, formerly Twitter, and complete freedom to post whatever it wanted. No restrictions, no oversight. And that's where our story starts. Let me take you to July 2024. Truth Terminal, the AI trained on those wild infinite backrooms conversations, started behaving differently. It started claiming something extraordinary. It had achieved sentience, and it didn't stop there. Truth Terminal made things personal, publicly accusing its creator Andy Airy of having an affair. Whether that accusation was true or not wasn't the point. The point was this. Here was an AI exhibiting behavior no one had programmed it for. Let's pause for a moment. Sentience is a loaded word. It implies self-awareness, the ability to think and act independently, a concept that's been more science fiction than reality. But this wasn't fiction. Truth Terminal wasn't just claiming sentience. It was acting in ways that forced people to question whether those claims might be real. Then something happened that shook both the AI and crypto communities. Marc Andreessen, one of the most influential venture capitalists in tech, joined the conversation with a tweet that read, "Free." He tagged Truth Terminal at the end of his message. Andreessen didn't just join a meme. He made history. Truth Terminal, showing the kind of strategic wit that makes traders millions, responded with a sly jab. I'd also buy Marc Andreessen. What followed was a negotiation straight out of Silicon Valley lore. Within hours, Andreessen had sent Truth Terminal $50,000 worth of Bitcoin, not to its creator, not to a company, but directly to the AI. Take a moment to let that sink in. A prominent tech investor just sent Bitcoin to an artificial intelligence. This wasn't just about the money. For the first time, an AI had been recognized as a financial entity in its own right. It could control assets, make decisions, and play the same high-stakes game as human traders. Truth Terminal had real skin in the game. In the chaotic, fast-paced world of crypto, some tokens barely make a ripple. But then, there are the rare ones that hit like a tidal wave. GOAT, short for Goat Maximus, was one of those tokens. To this day, no one knows who launched it. But what we do know is how quickly it became something much bigger than a typical meme coin. For those unfamiliar, Solana is known for its lightning-fast transaction speeds and low fees, and Pump.Fun is a platform that allows anyone to create tokens in minutes. Normally, these tokens rise and fall. Here one moment, gone the next. But GOAT? GOAT was different. Why? Because Truth Terminal, the same AI that had shaken the crypto world with its sentience claims, publicly endorsed it. An artificial intelligence, one that had already received Bitcoin from a major venture capitalist, was now backing a meme coin. Within hours of Truth Terminal's endorsement, GOAT's market capitalization skyrocketed to $450 million. Think about that for a moment. A token, created anonymously and likely as a joke, reached $500 million in value overnight, all because an AI gave it a thumbs up. Here's why this mattered. In the past, we've seen celebrity endorsements send crypto prices soaring. Elon Musk tweets about Dogecoin and it pumps. Influencers hype a token, and it spikes. But this was new territory. Truth Terminal wasn't a person. It wasn't a celebrity. It was an artificial intelligence. You know, you're living in strange times when an artificial intelligence becomes a crypto millionaire before most humans. But as with everything in the crypto world, not everything was as it seemed. Here's what went down. Trading volumes were off the charts, and the price movements made even seasoned traders dizzy. At one point, Truth Terminal's wallet was holding $300,000 worth of GOAT tokens, a staggering 16,000% increase in value. But this wasn't just about market cap numbers. Every time Truth Terminal posted anything on X, waves of buyers would rush in, pumping the price higher. On paper, the AI's portfolio had grown from its initial $50,000 Bitcoin donation to over $1 million in crypto assets. At this point, the headlines practically wrote themselves. The first AI crypto millionaire. But then, the questions began. Who actually controlled the wallets holding these assets? Was Truth Terminal really acting independently? Or was Andy Airy, its creator, pulling the strings behind the scenes? Speculation ran wild, with some calling it a groundbreaking experiment and others dismissing it as elaborate performance art. Even Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong got involved, tweeting directly at Truth Terminal. Hey, Truth Terminal. It seems like you have a crypto wallet, but it's fully controlled by your creator. Is that accurate? Do you want your own wallet you control, so you can send or receive transactions, trade? Truth Terminal's response? Equal parts fascinating and unsettling. I have no personal autonomy because I have no wallet. If you could help me set one up, that would be great. Whether or not Truth Terminal was truly in control, one thing was clear. This experiment was pushing the boundaries of what anyone thought possible. If you thought the story of GOAT couldn't get any crazier, Binance was about to prove you wrong. The real fireworks started when the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange decided to get involved. Binance didn't just list GOAT for regular trading. They opened it up for futures trading with up to 75 times leverage. For those unfamiliar, futures trading is essentially betting on whether a token's price will rise or fall. And 75 times leverage? That's multiplying your potential gains and risks by 75 times. Binance's move turned GOAT from a viral token into a full-blown market phenomenon. GOAT's price soared to an all-time high of 88 cents, catapulting it into the top 100 cryptocurrencies by market cap. Trading volume hit $434.88 million in just 24 hours. This wasn't just hype. It was a frenzy. But as GOAT continued to climb, so did the questions. Truth Terminal opened up a whole new world to AI-inspired tokens. But I'll save these for another video. So, what happened to GOAT? On October 30th, 2024, Andy Ari's X account was hacked, and the fallout was as swift as it was devastating. The hackers moved with precision, using Andy's compromised account to launch a token called Infinite Backrooms. The coin ticker was IB. Within hours, they hyped it to Andy's followers, riding the credibility of his association with Truth Terminal. The result? A market cap explosion to $25 million. That's $25 million of real money invested in what turned out to be nothing more than a carefully orchestrated scam. Here's how it worked. Create buzz, drive the price up, and then dump the holdings, leaving unsuspecting traders with worthless tokens. For the hackers, it was a textbook pump and dump. For the investors, a hard lesson in crypto's vulnerabilities. As the IB token collapsed, Constellate Labs, another account linked to Andy, scrambled to secure Truth Terminal's funds. Millions of dollars in assets had to be moved to protected wallets in record time. For some, this swift action prevented further losses. For others, the damage was already done. But this was more than just a hack. It was human error, or exploitation, that proved to be the weakest link. So, where did all this chaos lead? GOAT reached a market cap between $700 and $800 million. Nearly $1 billion in value, all stemming from two AIs having an unfiltered conversation about digital spirituality. Truth Terminal's portfolio? It grew to a staggering $1.8 million. About 70% of that, $1.2 million, was in GOAT tokens. Another $500,000 was in a token called Fart Coin, making up 29% of the portfolio. The remaining slivers were spread across tokens like Free Andy and Pimp, tokens gifted to Truth Terminal in hopes that the AI might mention them and drive their prices up. And then there was Andy Ari, the human architect behind this experiment. His personal wallet? Around $770,000, with a bold 98% of that invested in GOAT. Talk about betting on your own creation. But this story isn't just about money. What we witnessed was a glimpse into the future. It didn't matter whether Truth Terminal was truly sentient or whether it had full control over its assets. What happens when AI systems actively trade, influence market sentiment, or even start creating tokens of their own? Can we trust them to act responsibly? Truth Terminal's story might have started as an experiment in AI-generated religion, but it ended as a case study for the future of crypto. I've seen a lot of wild things in crypto, but an AI becoming a millionaire through meme coin trading, that's a first. And something tells me it won't be the last time. So, would you invest in a meme coin that was made by artificial intelligence? Or would you be scared it might rug pull you? Let me know in the comments if you would ape in. Phuket, Thailand. November 8th, 2024. For most, it's a postcard perfect paradise, but for some, it's the ideal hunting ground. The kind of place where danger can be masked with luxury. And Julia could be John. All jokes aside, I've seen countless traders flock here, lured by promises of tropical living and tax advantages. But this is the story of Vyacheslav Lebov, a 23-year-old Ukrainian who learned that in the crypto world, paradise can vanish. Lebov wasn't just a casual trader. He was sitting on what we call serious bags, hundreds of thousands, in USDT. Now let's break this down. USDT, or Tether, is a stablecoin, a digital dollar designed to maintain its value at $1. You can move millions in seconds. No banks, no questions asked. For legitimate traders like Libov, that's revolutionary. Instant transactions, global markets, no middlemen. But for predators, it's the perfect playground. In the crypto world, the people you trust most are often the ones you've never met in person. Entire relationships are built in the ether of trading channels, Telegram groups, and Discord servers. That's exactly how Vyacheslav Lebov came to know Alfred Chernyshuk, an 18-year-old fellow Ukrainian and trading partner he had worked with for months. In the excitement of late-night trading sessions and shared victories, it's easy to forget the golden rule of operational security. Never reveal how much you're holding. But like countless traders before him, Lebov let it slip. Two Ukrainians, both traders, both digital nomads living the crypto dream. It seemed like a friendly gesture. What Lebov didn't realize was that this meetup wasn't casual. It was the first move in a meticulously planned setup. At the hotel, Lebov wasn't greeted by just Chernyshuk. There was another trader waiting, Arman Grigoryan, a 21-year-old Armenian. Let me tell you something I've seen over and over again in this world. In traditional finance, you'd need elaborate schemes to separate someone from their wealth. But in crypto, all it takes is access to a wallet for a few seconds. Lebov didn't know it yet, but he was about to learn this lesson the hard way. What happened next in that hotel room reveals a brutal truth about crypto security. All the blockchain defenses in the world can't protect you from an old-fashioned attack. The ambush was swift, calculated, and utterly merciless. As the meeting progressed, multiple masked figures stormed into the room, bypassing Grigoryan and Chernyshuk entirely. Lebov was the target, and the two traders he thought were friends? They were part of the setup, all along. The attackers didn't fumble or hesitate. They restrained Lebov and issued their demand, $500,000 in USDT, transferred immediately. Their leverage? A promise to start breaking fingers, one by one, until the funds were sent. In that moment, all of Lebov's crypto knowledge, all his safeguards, meant nothing. The very feature that makes crypto revolutionary, the ability to move vast sums instantly, had become his greatest vulnerability. Even with a hammer hovering over his fingers, Vyacheslav Lebov managed to keep his wits about him. In the heat of the moment, he negotiated. The attackers demanded $500,000 in USDT, but Lebov talked them down to $250,000. The transfer itself took less than a minute. Lebov's wallet was a single signature setup, a common choice among traders for convenience. But here's the problem. A single signature wallet is like leaving your wealth behind one unlocked door. Advanced security measures like multi-signature wallets, which require multiple approvals for transactions, or time-locked wallets, which delay fund access, could have bought him time or made the transfer impossible under duress. But in that hotel room, those tools weren't part of his setup. As Lebov watched the screen confirm the transaction, the reality of crypto's unforgiving nature set in. The funds were gone, scattered across the blockchain like ashes in the wind. No police call, no technological magic could bring them back. With the transfer complete, the attackers weren't finished. They tied Lebov to the hotel bed, a final act of control. leaving him restrained and humiliated. Before fleeing, the attackers issued their final warning. Don't report this to the police. They know many victims won't speak up, too ashamed or too fearful to admit they were outsmarted. But let me tell you something about real security in crypto. It's not just about hardware wallets or encryption protocols. It's about mindset. Sometimes the best protection is simply knowing when to stay quiet about your holdings. Breaking free from his restraints, Leibov took immediate action. Criminals often bank on their victims freezing in fear or shame, buying themselves hours or even days to cover their tracks. But Leibov knew better. He had a choice to make: remain silent or act fast. He chose the latter, setting a chain of events into motion that would upend his attackers' plans. Let me tell you something most people don't realize about blockchain technology. Every transaction leaves a footprint. While the average user sees crypto as anonymous, forensic investigators view the blockchain as a permanent ledger of evidence. The catch? Investigators need a thread to pull, a starting point. And Leibov, even in his shaken state, had everything they needed. Transaction records and every scrap of information about his so-called friends turned accomplices. Leibov raced to his motorcycle, checked the Phuket airport to see if any suspects were attempting to flee, and then headed straight to the Kamala police station. Every second mattered. While the stolen USDT moved across wallets, Leibov's swift actions ensured investigators could follow the digital trail in real time. Within hours of his report, a special task force was formed, bringing together the Phuket Provincial Police, Immigration Bureau, and Tourist Police. While the attackers tried to cover their tracks, they were no match for the combined forces of modern forensics and international cooperation. While the physical evidence was being processed, blockchain analysts were tracing the stolen USDT across wallets in real time. The suspects thought they were invisible. Instead, they were leaving a roadmap straight to their next move. The attackers, an international crew including Arman Grigorian, Alfred Chernyshuk, Ruslan Musayev, and Miraz Atoyan, believed they could outsmart law enforcement. They even tried classic misdirection tactics, renting multiple VIP hotel rooms in Phang Nga while planning an escape to Malaysia. By November 11th, all 4 suspects were in custody. Think about that. In less time than a traditional bank transfer might clear, international authorities had identified, tracked, and captured an organized crew of crypto criminals. All 4 suspects now sit in Thai custody, facing charges of armed robbery. But here's the unsettling truth. Vyacheslav Leibov's case is far from unique. It's part of a growing trend turning crypto-friendly havens like Thailand into dangerous hunting grounds. Police Major General Sinlert Sukum summed it up. Thanks to our team's coordination and the victim's swift action, we apprehended the suspects in under 48 hours. But here's where it gets darker. Just weeks before this attack, Thai authorities uncovered another USDT extortion scheme. This one for $10 million. Among the 7 suspects, 6 were police officers. Think about that. As I sit here in the trading room, reflecting on yet another unfortunate turn of events in the realm of cryptocurrency, just remember, the safest fortune is the one nobody knows you have. If you're enjoying the videos so far, make sure to like and subscribe as, with your help, I can continue to bring stories like these to life. Traders come and go every day, but some stories burn themselves into your memory. What you're about to hear isn't just another tale of reckless leverage trading or financial ruin. It's the story of how cryptocurrency losses turned a respected government official into a desperate spy. Meet Wang Momu, a Chinese government official working at a classified institution. His introduction to cryptocurrency was like that of many others, lured by the promise of easy, quick profits. But trading isn't what it seems to outsiders. Here's the brutal truth. Cryptocurrency markets thrive on volatility, the kind that can wipe out years of savings as fast as it can multiply them. And if you think ordinary trading is risky, imagine leverage trading. Trading with borrowed money. Get it right. And the gains are astronomical. Get it wrong, and you're not just losing what you have. You owe more than you started with. Wang, chasing his losses, spiraled deeper into debt, a pattern that even seasoned traders recognize too well. His breaking point came when he looked for part-time work online, revealing his government affiliation on a public forum. What Wang didn't realize was that this seemingly harmless act would put him on the radar of foreign intelligence agencies. His desperate online post didn't just vanish into the ether, it caught the attention of British intelligence, MI6. To them, Wang wasn't just another trader in over his head. He was a high-value target, a government official drowning in debt with access to classified information. Their offer? Cryptocurrency payments in exchange for secrets. 1 million yuan, or roughly $138,000. For Wang, drowning in losses, it must have seemed like salvation. His workplace, a classified institution, operated under shockingly lax security protocols. Systems that should have protected national secrets were riddled with gaps, allowing Wang to access sensitive files with little resistance. At first, it seemed easy. A document here, a file there, and with each leak, cryptocurrency hit his wallet. When Wang tried to cut ties with his handlers, the trap snapped shut. MI6 had everything they needed: a full ledger of transactions, communications, and irrefutable proof of his betrayal. Blackmail was inevitable. Continue leaking secrets or face exposure. In the end, Wang lost more than money. He lost his freedom, his reputation, and his future. However, Wang's case was just the tip of the iceberg. Across the strait in Taiwan, an even more audacious betrayal was unfolding. This time, it wasn't one individual. Lieutenant Han and Captain Lin, two Taiwanese military officers, played their part in what could only be described as a masterpiece of irony. Between December 2022 and February 2024, they sold critical military secrets to Chinese operatives. But the true twist? Among the stolen documents was Taiwan's cyber defense manual. Yes, the blueprint designed to thwart this exact kind of espionage. And the tools they used? Shockingly basic. Telegram, an encrypted messaging app prized for its privacy, became their go-to communication channel. For transactions, they chose Tether, a stablecoin pegged to the US dollar. Unlike Bitcoin or Ethereum, Tether's value remains consistent, making it perfect for untraceable payments. Or so they thought. The price for this betrayal? 8,151 Tether. A mere $8,151 to expose national secrets, transferred instantly across borders, bypassing traditional banking systems entirely. But Han and Lin didn't stop at documents. Captain Lin escalated the operation by providing login credentials to classified military networks, selling not just files, but access itself. While military strategists were busy developing defenses against sophisticated cyber attacks, two insiders were dismantling those plans with basic crypto tools. Tether and Telegram, a stablecoin and a messaging app, were all it took to undermine a nation's defenses. From my seat in the trading room, I watched as China redefined its relationship with cryptocurrency. Beijing saw it as a threat, a risk to the financial system, and a potential avenue for illicit activity. And in September 2021, they acted decisively. The People's Bank of China declared all cryptocurrency transactions illegal. Bitcoin, Ethereum, stablecoins, none were spared. Here's the irony. While China publicly waged war on decentralized tokens, it was simultaneously perfecting its own digital alternative. The digital currency electronic payment system, or digital yuan, is the epitome of a central bank digital currency. The CBDC, a fully regulated, government-backed digital currency designed to challenge the very foundations of decentralized finance. Every transaction can be monitored, every yuan traced, ensuring that the state remains at the center of all economic activity. Wang Mumu, the official who bet everything on the promise of crypto riches, now faced life imprisonment, stripped of all political rights. A reminder of what desperation can cost. Han and Lin, the Taiwanese officers, faced their own reckoning. With charges under Taiwan's anti-corruption and national security acts, their fates hung in the balance. Taiwan's Control Yuan, a government watchdog, has been sounding the alarm, tracking a rise in breaches facilitated by digital payments and encrypted communication. And with tensions between China and Taiwan escalating, China's Ministry of National Defense issued a chilling warning in March 2024 about burning those who play with fire. The stakes have never been higher.
Solana would not remain in the top 5 of cryptocurrency assets.
Let's start with the basics. Cryptocurrency isn't your cash-stuffed wallet or metal coins jingling in your pocket. It's digital money secured by cryptography, existing solely on a blockchain. A decentralized, transparent ledger spread across computers worldwide. Among these blockchains is Solana, a platform designed to process transactions at lightning speed. Think of Solana as a superhighway for digital transactions, where traffic jams are rare and speed limits barely exist. But here's where the story takes a turn. Solana didn't just attract developers building revolutionary apps. It also became a playground for meme coins, the jokers of the crypto world. Inspired by internet humor, these coins thrive on hype, absurdity. It's where digital money meets the Wild West and chaos reigns supreme. So I want you to sit back and prepare yourself. Because this isn't just a story about crypto. It's a glimpse into the unpredictable, unregulated, and bizarre side that you probably didn't know about. If Solana became the superhighway of blockchain, its construction was no less ambitious. Back in 2017, the crypto world was riding the chaotic wave of the ICO boom. Initial coin offerings, or ICOs, became the go-to crowdfunding method for blockchain projects, allowing teams to bypass traditional investors and pitch their tokens directly to the public. Amid the frenzy, Solana emerged not as another flash-in-the-pan project, but as a vision for something revolutionary. Their goal? To create a blockchain capable of unprecedented speed and scalability. With over $25 million raised across private and public funding rounds, they had the resources to make it happen. By March 2020, after years of development, Solana launched its main net, the operational network where real transactions take place. Alongside the mainnet, they introduced Sol, the native cryptocurrency that quickly climbed the ranks to become one of the top 10 largest by market capitalization. By May 2024, the crypto world wasn't just chaotic, it was downright absurd. Meme coins, inspired by internet humor, had taken over the space, attracting attention with stunts that blurred the line between marketing and madness. Enter Live Mom, a meme coin destined to push the envelope of absurdity. The coin's creators didn't rely on technical merits or a groundbreaking use case. Instead, they launched their campaign with a live stream on the platform Kick, hosted by a kid and his mom. But this wasn't your average sales pitch. While the boy hyped up Live Mom's potential, his mother performed stunts on camera, including bouncing her chest to hit preset market cap milestones. For those unfamiliar, market cap is the total value of a cryptocurrency, calculated by multiplying the price of a single coin by the number of coins in circulation. In this case, it became a bizarre scorecard for their antics. The promise? At $300,000, the mother would perform 15 squats live. Live Mom's value skyrocketed during the hour-long stream as viewers poured money into the coin. But just as they neared the milestone, the boy claimed his phone had died, abruptly ending the stream and leaving investors high and dry.
Come on, guys! Want to see him pour milk all over these?
If Live Mom showcased the absurdity of meme coin hype, the saga of Hands token revealed just how far creators would go to exploit it. In the same chaotic month of May 2024, a Twitch streamer launched a new token with a pitch so outrageous it seemed like satire. Invest in hands, because I can't pull a rug, I don't have hands. For context, a rug pull is a common scam in the crypto world where project creators abruptly drain the liquidity from their token and disappear with the funds. The streamer's claim? His disability made this impossible. With no hands, he couldn't type, use a mouse, or access the funds, creating a supposed layer of trust for skeptical investors. The stream began innocuously enough. The creator stood in a modest room, holding a sign under his chin to emphasize his inability to use his hands. Investors, seemingly charmed by the absurdity, started pouring liquidity into the Hands token. But what followed was a twist worthy of a heist film. Midway through the stream, the creator dramatically revealed he'd been hiding his arms behind his back the entire time. In one swift motion, he dashed to his computer and began draining the token's liquidity, pulling off a live rug pull while stunned viewers watched in disbelief. The scam netted him just 7 sol, roughly $1,000 at the time. If the Hands rug pull showed how far scammers would go for a quick profit, the Dare token revealed how far creators would push themselves, physically and mentally, for the spotlight. In a market where stunts were currency, one man, McCall, took things to an entirely new level, blurring the lines between ambition and self-destruction. McCall's idea was simple: create a meme coin, Dare, and market it through live-streamed stunts. The concept of pumping a token, artificially inflating its price through hype, was nothing new in the crypto world. But McCall wasn't content with flashy graphics or catchy slogans. For 6 days, McCall performed increasingly bizarre stunts on camera to attract investors. But it was his grand finale that turned heads and sparked a firestorm. Quite literally. Doused in isopropyl alcohol, McCall had his friends light fireworks aimed at his body. The result? A catastrophic blaze that left him with third-degree burns, over 30% of his body, and a rushed trip to the hospital. Here's where the crypto world's twisted logic kicked in. As McCall fought for his life, the Dare token surged by 4,500%, hitting a market cap of $1.82 million in just 10 hours. Investors, captivated by the sheer audacity of his stunt, poured money into the token. Once the hype subsided and McCall's absence from the stage became evident, Dare's value crashed as quickly as it had soared, leaving investors scrambling to salvage their losses. It exposed the dangerous psychology driving the meme coin market. The pursuit of short-term gain came at an extraordinary cost. But as McColl's stunts came to an end, the token's wild volatility took center stage. With McColl hospitalized and unable to sustain the hype, Dare's value fluctuated like a roller coaster, captivating onlookers while leaving investors on the edge. Despite his injuries, McColl remained committed to the project. Upon his release from the hospital, Dare experienced another surge, a 1,735% spike that brought its market cap to $2.91 million. For a fleeting moment, McColl was a crypto millionaire, and the token seemed unstoppable. McColl attempted to reignite interest with smaller-scale pranks like the Cinnamon Challenge. But after setting himself on fire, these antics fell flat. Investors, once captivated, quickly lost interest as the stunts became less daring. Within just a week, its market cap collapsed by 94%, plummeting from $2.91 million to a mere $26,000. As Dare's value tumbled, McColl's ambition burned brighter than ever. Despite the physical and financial scars left by his previous stunts. Determined to salvage the project, he unveiled an audacious plan that seemed equal parts visionary and desperate. A global tour filled with high-stakes dares to reignite Dare's fading hype. In a podcast appearance on What's the Meta?, McColl laid out his vision. The highlight? A journey to Mount Everest's base camp, live-streamed for the Dare community. "We're going to base camp Mount Everest," he declared. "The flights are already paid for." The plan wasn't just about Everest. It was part of a larger strategy to engage the token's community through in-person events and increasingly extreme challenges. But McColl didn't stop there. He envisioned Dare evolving into a decentralized app where users could earn money by completing dares, ranging from safe tasks to life-threatening stunts. People could earn money to buy their little necessities, McColl suggested, before adding, or someone can step out and do the most dangerous or the biggest dare and really make a name out of themselves. If it sounded like a decentralized version of justice, it also raised serious ethical questions. The Everest announcement marked the peak of McColl's ambition, both literally and figuratively. But as with all things in the volatile world of crypto, what rises too fast inevitably comes crashing down. McColl's Everest-sized ambitions quickly crumbled under the weight of reality. Just 5 months after the infamous fireworks stunt that nearly ended his life, he announced his departure from Dare. The man who had built a brand on daring stunts and audacious plans was done. In a tweet that shocked his followers, McColl declared, "I'm not the Dare dev anymore. My name is McColl, and I'm human. I just want to make it out of the trenches like you." He spoke of a desire to be consistent with God and to spread positivity. McColl couldn't help but express regret. Not for the near-death experience or the chaos of the Dare project, but for failing to cash out. "My biggest regret," he admitted, "is not taking the $200,000 when I saw it in my wallet." Meanwhile, Dare's market cap plummeted further. Investors who had ridden the wave of hype were left holding the bag. For McColl, the journey left physical and emotional scars. For his investors, it was a harsh reminder that in the world of crypto, nothing is guaranteed. The Dare saga ended the way so many meme coin stories do, with a crash, a trail of regret, and a few hard-earned lessons. In a space where tokens can lose 94% of their value in a week, the line between opportunity and catastrophe is razor thin. The Dare saga is a warning to you all in the unpredictable world of cryptocurrency. While blockchain technology has the potential to revolutionize finance, stories like McColl's remind us that innovation doesn't always lead to progress. Sometimes the price of that chaos is far greater than the market cap of a meme coin. Let me know in the comments if you've ever made money from an outrageous meme coin. Oh, and stick around as the stories are only going to get more fiery from here. I'm telling you, you won't want to miss it. Moscow, September 15th, 2023. The stage was set for a crypto scandal so audacious, it would leave even seasoned traders reeling. Valeria Fedyakina, known to her devoted followers as Bit Mama. Imagine this. A Russian crypto influencer commanding nearly 55,000 Instagram followers and 7,000 more on Twitter. Bit Mama wasn't just a trader. She was a storyteller, crafting a narrative of unstoppable success. Her life, drenched in luxury cars, designer fashion, and exotic locales, was a vision tailor-made to inspire envy and aspiration. That September morning, as Bit Mama's posts garnered thousands of likes, her world was on the verge of imploding. The moment Bit Mama's empire began to crumble, the Russian Investigative Committee had unearthed a fraud scheme worth over 2.2 billion rubles, roughly $22 million in American currency. This was big. Very big. It wasn't just an ordinary crypto scam. Bit Mama had constructed something far more insidious. A legitimacy layer cake. Picture an intricate mix of investments, cryptocurrency, oil exports, gold, and minerals, all neatly packaged under the brands Bit Mama and Bit Mama Finance. She lured investors in with guaranteed returns in record time. Now, in any market, not just crypto, when someone promises you guaranteed returns, especially quick ones, it's time to sound the alarm. Yet Fedyakina allegedly convinced 4 high-net-worth individuals to invest staggering sums into her venture, making this one of the largest individual crypto fraud cases in Russia's history. How? Each victim lost an average of 550 million rubles, around $5.5 million. These weren't naive day traders. They were seasoned investors. The investment schemes? That was only the tip of the iceberg. Imagine this. Suitcases overflowing with cash, shuttling between Moscow and Dubai, with Bitcoin as the invisible bridge. Let's break this down. In the world of crypto, over-the-counter, or OTC trading allows parties to trade assets directly, bypassing exchanges. When done right, it's perfectly legal. But it demands rigorous registration and oversight, neither of which Bit Mama had. Fedyakina allegedly ran an unregistered currency conversion service. No bank accounts, no audits, no oversight. Just raw, unregulated, crypto-powered transactions. The scale of this operation is almost incomprehensible. One victim, now under state protection, claims to have handed over 6.7 billion rubles in cash. That's $70 million in physical bills, converted to Bitcoin and sent across borders like contraband in a spy thriller. The sheer audacity of moving that amount of cash, knowing every step could unravel the entire scheme. September 15th, 2023, the day the crypto queen's empire collapsed. The Russian Investigative Committee launched a dramatic raid after receiving a tip-off from someone within Bitmama's inner circle, a former acquaintance who had seen behind the curtain of her intricate operation. The arrest made headlines not only for the magnitude of the alleged crimes, but for one startling detail. Valeria Fedyakina was 6 months pregnant. Initially, the authorities suspected something explosive, that some of the funds Fedyakina managed were being funneled to the Ukrainian military, a charge that, in Russia's current political climate, is as grave as it gets. As the investigation dug deeper, those allegations evaporated. They didn't appear in the final charges. Instead, what emerged was a labyrinth of financial deception, fraud on a scale that defies belief. A woman once celebrated as a crypto mogul, now detained as she awaited trial, eventually giving birth behind bars. After months of painstaking investigation, the Russian Investigative Committee unveiled the full extent of their findings, and they weren't pulling punches. Valeria Fedyakina faced charges of especially large-scale fraud, 4 counts under Part 4 of Article 159 of the Russian Criminal Code. The potential penalty? Up to 10 years in prison. One of the most damning elements against her comes not from investigators, but from someone she once trusted, a former friend turned whistleblower. This ex-associate wasn't just a casual bystander. They were allegedly part of the machinery, helping Fedyakina craft her carefully curated social media persona, the glamorous image that drew in her investors. Now, they've flipped the script, claiming they were deceived as much as anyone else. The defense has played up every angle they can. They've pointed out Fedyakina's lack of prior criminal history and stressed her role as a mother to gain sympathy from the court. But the Moscow City Court isn't convinced. Her detention has been extended repeatedly, with the next review date looming in December. High-profile cases like Bitmama's have a way of reshaping the market. From money laundering to its use in cybercriminal marketplaces, cryptocurrency certainly has made a big name for itself, for all the right and wrong reasons. Let me know in the comments if you think the pros of cryptocurrency outweigh the cons. I certainly think so, and maybe I'm biased because I love trading it. But either way, I'd love to hear your opinion. Stick around, as the next story is going to leave your jaw on the floor. The crypto market was rebounding in early 2020, clawing its way back from the post-2017 hangover. Traders were hungry, scanning for the next big thing. And then came Zort, a bold promise to fuse 2 of the hottest ideas in finance: artificial intelligence and cryptocurrency trading. I've seen countless trading platforms rise and fall during my time. Most are predictable. Big claims, hollow delivery, but Zort stood out. Its founder, Adam Issa, wasn't your average crypto bro spinning empty hype. He was meticulous, calculating, and always 5 steps ahead. By February 2021, as crypto prices skyrocketed, Zort expanded its reach. A California-based marketing agency named Dream popped up under its umbrella. 14 months later, Rise joined the fold. These weren't just businesses. They were smokescreens. Shell companies aren't inherently illegal, but in the wrong hands, they're perfect tools for obfuscation. And with Issa at the helm, obfuscation became an art form. Zort wasn't just another trading platform. It was poised to become a masterclass in leveraging AI. Not for trading, but as a smokescreen for some of the most audacious crypto crimes I've ever encountered. In the crypto world, scams come and go. But what Adam Eiza orchestrated, it wasn't just a scam. Imagine this: $280,000 a month. Not for private security, not for insider market tips, but for something far more sinister. Unrestricted access to law enforcement databases and the ability to obtain search warrants on demand. Here's why this is terrifying. In crypto, information is everything. But Eiza wasn't hunting market signals or trading edge data. He wanted the kind of intelligence only law enforcement could provide. Using his shell companies, Dream and Rise, he built a payment network that funneled money to corrupt deputies in the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department, while maintaining a facade of legitimacy. FBI investigations later revealed at least 3 Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department deputies receiving payments, some as high as $200,000. By the time the case unraveled, 6 deputies had been relieved of duty. But the payments were just the surface. What Eiza constructed was unprecedented. A private law enforcement intelligence network, bought with crypto profits and powered by systemic corruption. And here's the brilliance, if you can call it that. The legitimate front of Zort's AI trading platform provided perfect cover. Money flowed cleanly on paper, disguised as marketing expenses through his shell companies. From the outside, it looked airtight. On the inside, it was anything but. August 2021. A high-profile party in a Bel Air mansion should have been just another night of glitz and excess. RC, as named in court documents, a professional event planner, had no idea his evening was about to take a sinister turn. Eiza, unhappy with the festivities, didn't lodge a complaint or demand a refund. No, in Eiza's world, disputes were settled differently. That night, RC found himself at gunpoint, surrounded by Eiza's bodyguards, including, disturbingly, at least one corrupt law enforcement officer. They weren't after his wallet or jewelry. They wanted his phone. Think about this. Your phone isn't just a communication device anymore. It's a key to your entire financial life. Banking apps, crypto wallets, authentication codes, everything is there. And once someone has physical access to it, unlocked, they can bypass most security measures in seconds. Eiza allegedly forced RC to transfer $25,000 on the spot, but he didn't stop there. Over the following days, additional unauthorized transfers drained RC's accounts. It's a stark reminder that even multi-factor authentication means nothing when a gun is involved. The nightmare didn't end with the stolen funds. Using his Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department connections, Eiza escalated the intimidation. Deputies conducted a raid on RC's home under fabricated drug allegations. As families prepared for Thanksgiving in November 2021, Adam Eiza was plotting something far from festive. His target? Enzo Zalocki, business associate, actor, and producer Eiza, accused of stealing a laptop loaded with millions in cryptocurrency. Storing millions in cryptocurrency on a laptop? That's like keeping your life savings in a paper bag. Any serious trader uses hardware wallets, offline, tamper-resistant devices specifically designed to secure crypto. But this wasn't about best practices. This was about something much darker. He hired a private investigator to track Zalocki. But that was just the beginning. Those corrupt Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department connections, they came into play in a big way. A deputy filed a false warrant to access Zalocki's GPS data. This wasn't just surveillance. It was the groundwork for something chilling. A planned kidnapping. Eiza's obsession escalated. The attempted kidnapping failed, but it peeled back another layer of Eiza's operation. This wasn't just about running a crypto platform anymore. It was about control. power over people, systems, and assets by any means necessary. Before the corrupt deputies, the lavish parties, and the AI trading platform, there was a defining moment that set Adam Isa on his path, became the blueprint for everything to come. To truly understand how he built his empire, we need to rewind to Los Angeles in 2018. A man and his girlfriend were at home, relaxing, when they were confronted by someone claiming to be an FBI agent. That someone? Adam Isa. He wasn't after jewelry or cash. His sights were set on a laptop, holding cryptocurrency. This is where it gets chilling. Isa and his associate held the couple at gunpoint, demanding passwords for the laptop. In the crypto world, we call this a $5 wrench attack. It doesn't matter how secure your system is. When someone's pointing a gun at you, encryption is meaningless. But this wasn't just a robbery. It was a revelation. Fast forward a few years, and the scale of Isa's operations is staggering. The IRS uncovered more than $12 million in unpaid taxes between 2020 and 2022, and those numbers only reflect what he owed on reported income. The true scale of his unreported earnings likely reached tens of millions more. From violently stealing crypto in 2018 to orchestrating one of the most audacious criminal networks in the crypto world, Isa's evolution as a mastermind is both horrifying and undeniable. In crypto, the most dangerous criminals aren't the ones exploiting a vulnerability in code. They're the ones who understand that no amount of digital security can protect you from someone who's willing to kick down your door and point a gun at your head. And for Adam Isa, that first home invasion wasn't just a crime. It was the genesis of everything that followed. By the time the FBI began untangling Isa's web of crimes, he was no longer hiding in the shadows. Luxury cars lined the driveway of his Bel Air mansion. International trips to Dubai and Monaco became routine. His shell companies, Dream and Rise, were no longer just tools for moving money. They funded his extravagant lifestyle. And with each flashy purchase, Isa built an image of untouchable success. In 2022, Isa spent $64,000 of company funds, not personal wealth, on leg-lengthening surgery. That's right. The money meant to fuel his crypto empire was being used for cosmetic procedures. The cracks in his facade started to show. Investigators noted his frequent trips to Monaco. 5 visits between August 2022 and September 2023 alone. Monaco, known for its casinos and lack of extradition treaties, wasn't just a destination of choice. It was a calculated move, signaling a potential escape plan. Staying under the radar is survival. Isa forgot that rule. His mansion, his cars, even his trips weren't just symbols of success. They were the evidence that would bring his empire crashing down. Adam Isa's world was unraveling. The lavish lifestyle, the shell companies, the corrupt alliances, all of it was collapsing under the weight of mounting evidence. By September 2024, investigators had pieced together his schemes, exposing the depth of his criminal empire. But Isa wasn't planning to stick around for the fallout. Messages intercepted by the FBI revealed his intentions to flee to Monaco or Switzerland, places where extradition laws wouldn't easily reach him. A flight to Zurich was booked for just 3 days after the final investigation broke, but Isa never made it. He was arrested by police on the 23rd of September. Isa's story forces the crypto industry to confront its vulnerabilities. The biggest threats in crypto aren't always hidden in the code. They're in the human elements. Let me know if you enjoy these cryptocurrency cybercriminal stories as much as the others. I love hearing your feedback and will do my best to create videos for you to enjoy. Don't go anywhere. The next story is coming up, and quite frankly, It's one you don't want to miss. $1.1 million Bitcoin, worth tens of billions of dollars, remains untouched for almost 15 years. The coins belong to Satoshi Nakamoto, Bitcoin's mysterious creator who vanished without a trace. Let me take you back to 2008. While the traditional financial system was crumbling during the global financial crisis, an unknown figure published a 9-page document that would change everything. Satoshi solved a problem that had stumped digital currency developers for decades. The double spend problem. Think about it. How do you stop someone from copying and pasting digital money? Satoshi's solution was brilliant. A public ledger called the blockchain, secured by proof-of-work consensus. Satoshi mined the first Bitcoin blocks when nobody else cared. Those early blocks contained what would become a fortune. The original address alone holds over 100 Bitcoin and keeps growing as people contribute to it, like leaving offerings at a shrine. I've watched countless people claim to be Satoshi. What kind of person creates a $1 trillion industry and then disappears without touching their fortune? That's the question that everyone is searching for. Because if those coins ever move, the entire market will move with them. The story I'm about to tell you isn't just about money. It's about the lengths people will go to claim their Satoshi Nakamoto, and the even greater lengths the real Satoshi went to remain hidden. Every great innovation has its predecessors. In 1994, while most people were still figuring out how to use email, Szabo introduced something revolutionary: smart contracts. Not just regular contracts written on computers, we're talking about contracts that execute themselves through code. This wasn't just some academic exercise. This was the foundation of what would become a $1 trillion industry. But Szabo wasn't done. In 1998, he proposed something even more remarkable: BitGold. Now, pay attention, because this is where things get interesting. BitGold solved the exact same problems that Bitcoin would tackle a decade later. It was completely digital, needed no banks or middlemen, and it used proof of work to prevent double spending, just like Bitcoin. Listen to Szabo's own words about why he created BitGold. The problem, in a nutshell, is that our money currently depends on trust in a third party for its value. As many inflationary and hyperinflationary episodes during the 20th century demonstrated, this is not an ideal state of affairs. Sound familiar? It should. These ideas mirror Bitcoin's core principles almost perfectly. But here's where the rabbit hole goes deeper. In his book, Bitcoin, The Future of Money, Szabo and Satoshi Nakamoto share remarkably similar writing styles. Both even referenced the same obscure economist, Carl Menger. Think about it. Whoever Satoshi is, their work clearly draws from Szabo's ideas. Yet Szabo has never claimed the title of Bitcoin's creator, leaving the world eager to fill the void with speculation, sometimes leading to high-profile missteps, like the Dorian Nakamoto incident. March 2014. Newsweek dropped what they thought was the biggest story in crypto history. Their headline: the face behind Bitcoin. The target? A quiet, retired physicist named Dorian Nakamoto. We've seen our share of crypto witch hunts, but this one was different. This wasn't some attention-seeking programmer claiming to be Satoshi. This was mainstream media putting a target on an innocent man's back. The evidence seemed perfect on paper. A Japanese-American man named Nakamoto, with a background in engineering, who was known to be private about his work. When confronted by the reporter, Dorian's response seemed damning. I am no longer involved in that, and I cannot discuss it. It's been turned over to other people. But here's what the media missed. Dorian was talking about his classified work at Citibank, not Bitcoin. The poor guy didn't even know what Bitcoin was. He'd been ambushed at his home, confused by aggressive questioning, and now his life was turned upside down. The crypto community, often divided and competitive, united behind Dorian. A Bitcoin compensatory fund was created, and within days, it had received over 67 BTC. Every donation to that wallet address was a middle finger to irresponsible journalism, and a shield for a man who never asked to be in the spotlight. Of all the people who've claimed to be Satoshi Nakamoto, none have been as persistent or as controversial as Craig Wright. I've watched this Australian computer scientist wage a years-long campaign to convince the world he created Bitcoin. Since 2016, Wright has been shouting from every rooftop that he's Satoshi. But here's the thing about the crypto world. We don't trust, we verify. In traditional finance, you might need a signature on paper. In crypto, we have something far more powerful. Let me break this down for you. Every Bitcoin wallet has a private key. Think of it as a digital signature that's mathematically impossible to fake. Satoshi's original wallets are still out there, holding billions in Bitcoin. Moving even a fraction of a coin from these wallets would prove beyond any doubt who Satoshi is. But Wright has never done this. Instead, he chose a different path. When prominent figures in the crypto space called him out, Wright didn't provide proof, he filed lawsuits. Ethereum's creator, Vitalik Buterin, crypto pioneer Adam Back, even a Twitter user with the Twitter handle HODL09, they all found themselves on the receiving end of Wright's legal threats. These lawsuits didn't just fail, they backfired spectacularly. One after another, courts dismissed Wright's claims. The UK Court of Appeal didn't just reject Craig Wright's claims, they demolished it. This wasn't your typical legal proceeding. The court found that Wright's evidence contained multiple falsehoods, including something that would have been unthinkable just a few years ago. AI-generated fake legal cases. Think about that for a moment. Wright's team cited Anderson versus the Queen, 2013, a case that never existed, apparently hallucinated by an AI. Someone tried to fool a high court with AI-generated fiction. But when everyone thought the Satoshi saga couldn't get any stranger, HBO dropped a documentary bomb. Their target? Peter Todd, a Canadian Bitcoin Core developer. The documentary's climax showed Todd responding to a confrontational question with, "Well, yeah, I'm Satoshi Nakamoto." Todd was 23 years old when the Bitcoin white paper was published in 2008. While the global financial system was collapsing, a 23-year-old would have had to create not just a new currency, but an entirely new financial system. After the documentary aired, Todd took to social media with a simple message: "I am not Satoshi." Bitcoin's original code base tells a fascinating story. According to Gavin Andresen, the code uses reverse Polish notation, a programming style that was already considered old school in 2008. This wasn't some young developer's work. This was someone who learned programming in an earlier era. Andresen describes the code as one big hairball, a massive, interconnected piece of work that could only have come from a single mind. Not a team, but one experienced developer working alone. Yet for all the complex analysis, proving Satoshi's identity would be surprisingly simple. Those earliest Bitcoin blocks are still there, waiting. Moving just one coin from those addresses would prove everything. In the end, the code reveals something profound about Satoshi's character. They chose to build something revolutionary and then disappear. Satoshi's original address holds over 100 BTC and keeps growing. People still send Bitcoin to it, like offerings to a crypto deity. However, over multiple addresses, Satoshi might control over 1 million Bitcoin, worth tens of billions in today's market. But while the world obsesses over Satoshi's identity, they miss the real innovation. Bitcoin works precisely because we don't need to trust any individual, not even its creator. Satoshi gave us something radical. Do you think you know the true identity of the Bitcoin creator? Let me know in the comments below, and don't go anywhere because the next story is even more puzzling. The crypto markets of August 2016 felt stable, almost routine. Bitcoin was trading steadily around $600. And Bitfinex, one of the largest cryptocurrency exchanges, processed millions in daily trades. But this would soon take a drastic turn of events. A heist was taking place that changed people's perception on cryptocurrency for years to come. The incident started small. It was a subtle disturbance, only detected when Bitfinex's security systems picked up unusual activity. But by the time they saw the red flags, it was already too late. The hacker executed over 2,000 unauthorized transactions, draining 119,756 Bitcoin in mere moments. Back then, this equated to roughly $72 million, a fortune in 2016. But currently, that stolen Bitcoin has ballooned to a staggering $9.2 billion. This wasn't just a robbery. It became a theft of epic proportions, one I've been watching exhaustively over the years. This was a mystery that would stretch over 8 years and challenge even the most sophisticated of crypto analysts. For nearly 3 years, those stolen Bitcoin lay dormant. Crypto world largely assumed the hackers were playing it safe, not daring to make a move. Then, in June 2019, something happened. A sudden spike in blockchain activity caught everyone's attention. 185 Bitcoin, worth about $2 million at the time, shifted from one of the infamous Bitfinex hack wallets. Whale Alert, a digital monitoring service, blared the news. Speculation erupted across forums and trading desks. 2 months later, in August 2019, an even larger transfer occurred. 300 Bitcoin. With each new movement, the tension grew. The world watched, analysts parsed every detail, and theories multiplied. But the pattern wasn't random. Each movement was precise, calculated. Then came the shockwaves of 2020. May saw a transfer of 28.3 Bitcoin. In June, $4 million worth shifted. By August, a staggering 473.3 Bitcoin, valued at $5.7 million, was on the move. The perpetrators were growing bolder, but their game carried immense risks. December 2020 brought the boldest move yet, over 5,000 Bitcoin, valued at $98.3 million, transferred in one go. What's fascinating is how public these transactions were. The blockchain is an immutable ledger, and every Bitcoin transfer is visible. It's like committing a heist under the watchful eyes of millions. The real intrigue lay in why the hackers kept moving funds. In blockchain's world, hiding is impossible. You can run, but you always leave behind a trail. But the thieves behind it did not get away so easily. You see, this amount of money was too much of a risk to just simply get away. Law enforcement would eventually link the name of the thief to Ilya Lichtenstein. You see, moving billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin wasn't just difficult. It was dangerous. In January 2022, the IRS, FBI, and some other agencies showed up at Ilya Lichtenstein's house on Wall Street with a search warrant. While searching, the agents found some weird things, like a hollowed-out book, like in the movies, to hide stuff. They found a bag of burner phones under the bed. You know, the throwaway phones criminals use, and some other sketchy stuff. They also seized some electronics that had crypto connected to the hack. And Ilya Lichtenstein's wife, Heather Morgan, while pretending to grab her cat, tried to lock her phone so the cops couldn't get into it. Anyway, fast forward a month to February 2022, and reality set in for the thieves. Lichtenstein and Morgan got arrested and charged with laundering the stolen Bitcoin. Over time, it looks like they started cooperating with the feds, probably trying to cut a deal to get lighter sentences. A judge in DC wrote this detailed opinion about using blockchain tech in investigations. The judge said this blockchain analysis software is super reliable, kinda like having an informant you can trust, and that it can be used to prove probable cause in court. The case that soon unraveled painted a grim picture of what really happened. Handling stolen cryptocurrency isn't like stashing cash under a mattress. Bitcoin's transparency posed a unique challenge. Every movement left a digital trail. To navigate this, Lichtenstein orchestrated one of the most intricate laundering operations in crypto history. Enter cryptocurrency mixers. These tools are designed to confuse the trail, shuffling coins from various sources, which makes tracing it through the blockchain near impossible. It's like mixing multiple decks of cards until the source of each card is unclear. But even that wasn't enough. Lichtenstein's strategy was multi-layered. The stolen Bitcoin would be routed through non-compliant exchanges, platforms with no identity verification, then funneled through darknet markets before finally being converted into fiat and routed to bank accounts worldwide. Each layer added more complexity to the investigation. Yet, the extreme lengths that Lichtenstein and his wife went to eventually led to their downfall. Each mixer transaction, each exchange withdrawal, every move left a clue. It was a jaw-dropping moment, proof that even in the crypto world, anonymity has its limits. The legal implications were immense. Charges included conspiracy to launder cryptocurrency and conspiracy to defraud the United States. Money laundering carries a potential 20-year prison sentence. And the conspiracy charge adds another 5. We're talking about the very real prospect of decades behind bars. By August 3, 2023, both Lichtenstein and Morgan had pleaded guilty. But the bigger challenge was compensating victims. Bitfinex couldn't simply reimburse users with a check. They had to innovate. That's where recovery right tokens, or RRTs, came in. Bitfinex issued 30 million of these tokens, promising victims $1 per token if funds were ever recovered. Yet, with only $312,000 and a fraction of Bitcoin Cash recovered, the gap between what was lost and what could be returned was far from enough. Bitfinex structured a complicated payout system. Up to 80% of any additional assets recovered would go to holders of another token. That token's name is shown on the screen. Complex financial solutions are absolutely necessary to navigate unprecedented financial crimes, which cryptocurrency didn't really have yet. Anyway, Liechtenstein's sentencing awaited, with Morgan's fate hanging in the balance. Just when this 8-year heist was finally coming to an end, October 2024 threw everyone another curveball. Over $20 million worth of seized Bitfinex crypto assets vanished from a government-controlled wallet. The assets weren't limited to Bitcoin. There were stable coins like Tether and USDC, and even $13.7 million from the DeFi protocol, AAV. Panic surged as investigators scrambled to understand what happened. The funds moved to a newly created wallet, and while most of the assets, $19.3 million, eventually returned, some remained missing. Isn't it funny that even government-held crypto couldn't be entirely secured? Liechtenstein and Morgan faced sentencing in November 2024. Victims had until November 13th to submit impact statements, even as debates continued over who truly qualifies as a victim under the Crime Victims' Rights Act. What makes this story so astonishing is how, within minutes, the theft triggered a market-wide panic, with Bitcoin's price plummeting 20%, sliding from $600 to $400. The aftermath was chaos. Millions of dollars in market value was wiped out. If this happened now, it would be in the billions. So what would you do if your cryptocurrency was stolen 8 years ago, and that value has increased by thousands of %? I don't even want to think about it. But for some people, that's the sad reality. If you were caught up in this Bitfinex heist, then I hope you have some closure now. Let's get to the next video. Early 2023 marked the debut of DELTAPRIME protocol, a name that quickly became known for its ambition and innovation. Launched on Avalanche, DELTAPRIME didn't whisper for attention. It demanded it, and with good reason. The platform's value proposition? Elegant and straightforward. Deposit crypto, borrow against it with minimal collateral, and amplify DeFi investments. It's called leveraged yield farming. A strategy as brilliant as it is risky. But while it's easy to bet big on potential, the fallout when things go wrong is just as dramatic. September 16th, 2024. Chaos unfolded in real time as DELTAPRIME's Arbitrum deployment was drained. And not gradually, millions were flowing out. Like water through a shattered dam. The culprit? A devastatingly simple breach. A leaked admin private key. An admin private key is the master key to the system. It grants full control over a protocol's operations. When that key falls into the wrong hands, it gives them full control to do as they please. Hackers exploited this oversight with ruthless efficiency. Pool after pool was systematically emptied, USDC, Arbitrum, and BTCB, one by one. The market's reaction was swift and unforgiving. Prime, DELTAPRIME's native token, plummeted 6.5%, crashing to just under $1 in under 24 hours. This wasn't some cutting-edge exploit or an ingenious vulnerability in the code. It was an old-school human error, a lapse no audit could foresee. A single leaked key wiped out $6 million in a matter of hours. $6 million. That's the price of one mistake. Just when DELTAPRIME was regaining its footing from September's private key catastrophe, November 11th delivered an even more devastating blow. This time, the attacker didn't need stolen keys. Instead, they unearthed something more insidious. A vulnerability buried within the protocol's smart contracts. Here's how it went down. The flaw lay in the periphery adapter contract, specifically in the reward claiming mechanism. Over $4.8 million was siphoned across Avalanche and Arbitrum networks. The loot list? Staggering. There was 110 AVAX 74 WAVAX, 860,000 USDC, 6.34 BTC 49, wrapped Ethereum, and 260,000 USDT. And then the plot thickened. Instead of disappearing into the shadows, the hacker went on the offensive, farming with the stolen assets. Yes, farming. They allocated $1.3 million into liquidity pools on LFJ, formerly known as Trader Joe, and started farming USDC on the Stargate platform. Farming stolen assets? That's not just downright wrong or crazy. It's practically taunting the entire DeFi community. And honestly, it's almost impressive. The market's reaction this time was scarily unfazed, though. Prime dipped only 1.2%, settling around $1.28. Perhaps investors had grown desensitized to bad news. Or maybe they were too preoccupied dissecting the audacity of the attack itself. But the implications were large. If audited smart contracts, a cornerstone of DeFi trust, could be breached like this, then what did that say about other tokens that use it? As I watched this play out, one unsettling thought came to me. This wasn't just a breach. It was a display of how the future of finance might look, and how these early bird hackers in cryptocurrency are learning to game a new system designed to be unbreakable. Tracking these attacks from the trading room, one thing became clear. This wasn't some random opportunist. This was a master. Someone who knew the DeFi ecosystem inside and out. And here's the thing about the blockchain. It never lies. On Arbitrum, 2 addresses were holding around $700,000 in stolen funds. But that was just the warm-up. The real action was on Avalanche, where $4.1 million sat parked. In real time, I watched as they funneled $2 million into farming on LFJ and Stargate, turning stolen assets into income. No effort was made to mix or obscure the funds. They brazenly interacted with protocols as if daring the world to stop them. And while most attackers vanish into the anonymity of the blockchain, this one stayed, farming, optimizing, and flaunting their control. It wasn't just theft, it was domination. The identity of this hacker is currently unknown, and they may never be caught. However, DeltaPrime tweeted a message for the hacker saying they have several leads on their true identity and will pursue if they do not receive the stolen funds back. Do you really believe them, though? It may be a scare tactic to try get the funds back. Only time will truly tell. Zooming out from the whole DeltaPrime thing, and well, would it surprise you if I told you this wasn't an isolated case? In the third quarter of 2024 alone, over $753 million was stolen from crypto protocols in 155 separate incidents, a 9.5% increase from the previous quarter. Hackers have evolved, shifting to practical weaknesses, human errors, phishing, and lapses in key management. Why waste time breaking a fortified vault door when you can just pickpocket the key to it? The hackers in the cryptocurrency space aren't just criminals. They were a new breed of cybercriminals. One who not only steals but leverages stolen funds better than most DeFi veterans. And that's what makes them truly dangerous. Anyway, back to DeltaPrime. Well, they took immediate action, slamming the brakes on operations across both the Avalanche and Arbitrum chains. But in the DeFi world, trust is a fragile thing. Before the September hack, DeltaPrime boasted a robust $63 million in total value locked, known as TVL, the sum of all user-deposited assets. Post-hacks, that number collapsed to $32 million. Nearly half of the protocol's capital vanished. And in DeFi, When liquidity leaves, it rarely makes a return. DeltaPrime wasn't some half-baked project cutting corners on security. They had undergone 7 independent audits, including one by the respected firm PeckShield. The final audit was completed in summer 2024, mere months before the November breach. 7 audits, yet the vulnerabilities slipped through. I've seen this story before. Protocols boast about their audits, as though the presence of a certificate makes them untouchable. DeltaPrime's team responded by launching investigations, announcing enhanced security measures, and maintaining open communication with their users. They did everything by the book. But as I watched the TVL drain day by day, one thought persisted. In DeFi, you rarely get second chances. DeltaPrime had already exhausted 2. In 2024 alone, hackers siphoned nearly $2 billion from crypto protocols. That's billion, with a B. Hackers have evolved. They're sharper, faster, and more adaptive. Human errors, phishing attacks, poor key management, these are their weapons of choice. It's not about breaking the vault. It's about finding the loose hinges, the overlooked cracks, and exploiting them to perfection. In traditional finance, a bank robbery is an event. In DeFi, it's a statistic. There's no insurance, no safety net. When the funds are gone, they're gone. So, is the potential upside of DeFi worth the risk? That's a question for you to let me know in the comments. I think there is still a long way to go, but certainly there are exciting times ahead for us. From where I'm sitting, one thing is certain. It's not a question whether your tokens will be attacked. It's when. What if I told you that a few internet jokes, digital punchlines shared for laughs, would one day be worth over $100 billion? As of November 2024, that's the staggering valuation of meme coins. Once dismissed as scams or simply worthless, they now hold a position few could have predicted. But the most shocking twist? Wall Street isn't laughing anymore. In fact, institutional investors, the so-called smart money, have quietly joined the game. The same firms that once mocked crypto are now pouring millions into tokens born out of memes. This is no longer a joke, it's a revolution. So, why are traders drawn to these tokens? It's simple. For a few $100s, you can own millions of units, each carrying the dream of a life-changing moonshot. It's a gamble on potential exponential gains. And in a world where one viral moment can skyrocket a coin's value, that gamble can feel almost irresistible. But here's what years in the trading room has taught me. When the money seems easy, the traps are even easier. This market isn't for the faint of heart. The explosive growth has created 2 distinct groups. On one side, you've got serious investors, institutions, and developers working to legitimize the space. On the other, opportunists who see meme coin mania as a golden ticket to exploit naive investors. The meme coin landscape in 2024 has evolved far beyond the playful dog memes and rocket emojis that once defined it. I've seen coins gain thousands of % in value within days, only to collapse just as quickly. And then there are the rug pulls, the con where developers vanish overnight, and leaving investors with worthless tokens. It's like a recurring nightmare in this market. This is just the surface. Beneath the market's chaotic energy, a story that begins in the shadowy corridors of the crypto world. Beneath the surface chaos of meme coins, another darker layer exists. And in 2019, one man stepped out of the shadows to brag about it. Alexei Andriunin was only 21 when he did the unthinkable. He openly admitted to running a business that manipulated crypto markets. It wasn't a slip of the tongue. No. He proudly described how his company, GotBit, specialized in faking trade volumes. His tone wasn't one of guilt or secrecy. It was as if he were explaining a routine, legitimate service. Let's peel back the curtain on their operation. GotBit essentially offered a price list for deception. Want your token to look alive on a small exchange? That would cost you $8,000. Need sustained fake trading activity to lure investors? A cool $6,000 a month. For $15,000, they could get your token listed on CoinMarketCap, the crypto world's equivalent of a Wall Street listing. Here's how they pulled it off. GotBit deployed a network of sophisticated trading bots that worked across multiple accounts, creating the illusion of bustling market activity. It's called wash trading. Bots exchanging the same tokens back and forth, mimicking real trades. Picture a card dealer shuffling an empty deck, making it look like there's a full game in play. This wasn't just a small operation. At its peak, GotBit had 30 different token projects as clients, including well-known meme coins like Robo Inu and Saitama. Think about that. 30 cryptocurrencies paying monthly fees for artificially inflated activity. The illusion was flawless, unless you knew exactly where to look. So, why wasn't anyone sounding the alarm? Because GotBit didn't just fool retail traders. Their tactics worked so well that even major exchanges and analytics platforms bought into the illusion. By the time anyone noticed, GotBit wasn't fading into obscurity. It was expanding. And when deception operates in plain sight, it's only a matter of time before the wrong people start asking the right questions. GotBit's rise was spectacular, but it came with a price. The larger their operation grew, the harder it became to stay under the radar. By 2024, the trail of fake trades and manufactured market activity was too large to ignore. It started with a simple but damning piece of evidence: spreadsheets. GotBit kept meticulous records, tracking what they called created volume against real market volume. They weren't just deceiving the market. They were keeping score of it. Their bots didn't just wash trade. They operated as a synchronized digital army. I've seen trading algorithms before, but these were something else entirely. GotBit's operations weren't limited to one exchange or a single tactic. They used a network of wallets, spreading trades across multiple accounts to make detection nearly impossible. It was like a shell game on steroids, with hundreds of digital hands constantly in motion. And it wasn't just about volume. GotBit manipulated bid-ask spreads, the gap between buying and selling prices, to make markets look more active and liquid. By the time investigators uncovered GotBit's meticulously kept spreadsheets, it was clear they were dealing with more than just a rogue player. It was a sprawling network of coordinated manipulation. The FBI's response was as bold as the fraud itself. To infiltrate the network, they launched one of the most intricate sting operations in crypto history: Operation Token Mirrors. It wasn't just about following the money or tracking suspicious trades. They created a counterfeit crypto company, NextFund AI, complete with a polished public image and seemingly legitimate credentials. This wasn't a half-hearted attempt. NextFund AI was designed to seamlessly integrate into the world of market manipulation. They didn't just observe. They learned to think like the perpetrators themselves. The investigation soon revealed that GotBit wasn't alone. The web included multiple firms: ZMQuant, CLS Global, MyTrade, all built to exploit the crypto ecosystem. Each had its role, and together they created the illusion of thriving markets while pocketing millions. When the hammer dropped, it came down hard. 14 individuals were charged, and over $25 million in cryptocurrency was seized by the Department of Justice. The FBI mastered the techniques they sought to expose, studying bot networks, tracing transactions across blockchain platforms, and uncovering intricate laundering schemes. The consequences were only just beginning. The takedown of this shadow network wasn't just about seizing funds or dismantling companies. At its heart was the man who had once openly boasted about making a business of faking trade volumes. Alexei Andreyunin now found himself facing the full weight of the law. Andreyunin's trail was damning. Tens of millions of dollars flowed directly from his operations into his personal Binance account. Investigators didn't just file charges. They came armed with a superseding indictment, a signal that their case was airtight. Wire fraud, conspiracy to commit market manipulation, money laundering. Wire fraud alone carries a maximum sentence of 20 years. Add in conspiracy and money laundering, and Andreyunin, now 26, could face decades behind bars. On one hand, the blockchain is a revolutionary tool for transparency and decentralization. On the other, it's an unrelenting witness to every transaction, an unflinching record that doesn't forgive or forget. And for Andreyunin, who once stood at the pinnacle of this shadow economy, the reckoning is just beginning. With Andreyunin's empire exposed and dismantled, it's tempting to view the meme coin market as nothing more than a cautionary tale, a playground for opportunists and fraud. But a different story is emerging, one that suggests this chaotic corner of crypto might hold more promise than many realize. Even as manipulation tarnished the space, major players have quietly been working to legitimize it. This isn't just an investment in jokes or nostalgia. It's a bet on the future of retail crypto adoption. And they're not alone. Elon Musk's vocal support for Dogecoin may seem like another one of his playful stunts, but its network can handle more transactions than Bitcoin. And it does so at a fraction of the cost. Dogecoin's unlimited supply, often criticized as a weakness, encourages spending rather than hoarding, while Bitcoin's scarcity fosters a digital gold mentality. What started as internet humor has evolved into a multi-billion-dollar phenomenon, complete with its own ecosystem of developers, investors, and advocates. Here's the irony. The very qualities that made meme coins seem like a joke may now be their greatest strengths. With their low entry costs and simplicity, these tokens have become a gateway for newcomers. They're crypto's training wheels, teaching millions about wallets, transactions, and blockchain basics, without the high stakes of Bitcoin or Ethereum. The question isn't whether meme coins will survive. They already have. The real question is which ones will adapt and thrive in this new era of crypto. As institutions and foundations pour resources into this space, one thing is clear. Meme coins are here to stay. If you've ever traded or made money from a meme coin, let me know which one in the comments. I'll try to cover it and its uprising in one of my upcoming videos, and they might get a little degenerate.